Hello everyone and welcome to Life After Graduation Student Series. Today I've got Ken who will be joining me, and my name is Alex. Welcome aboard, Ken.
Hey guys, how are you?
Awesome. So today we've got Ken who's going to talk about his life after graduation and also what's next since he's just graduated from university. Okay, Ken, I'm going to ask you a few questions. So could you introduce yourself?
So, hi everyone, my name is Ken. I'm an international student from Hong Kong. We just freshly graduated from Swinburne University of Technology, and my major is finance. So, yeah.
Awesome. So got a few questions for you today, Ken, because we know that you've just graduated from Swinburne with a finance degree.
Yep.
I think university life is kind of like that. It's that time of your life where it's only 3 or 4 years, and you meet a lot of friends. Of course, you meet a lot of people around you. You do your 3-4 years of subjects. What can you take
Yep.
out of those 3 to 4 years at Swinburne? Like, can you give us a bit of a reflection about? Because I think before I get you to answer that question, I want to talk to the audience about reflection. Reflection is so important in professional life all the way to your university life, because when you reflect, you think about the things that you've done, how you can improve, and how you can actually further your career. So, yeah, Ken, I'll ask you that question. So, how do you take out of those 4 years, which is part of your reflective period?
So, okay, I may just talk about briefly about my 3 years university life. And I would say it's a bit challenging when I first came to came to Melbourne, because as an international student, I was not really used to the university life in Australia. People here are a bit more, chilling, and they are more laid back compared to how I study in Hong Kong. So when I first came, I have language barriers, cultural barriers, and it's really hard for me to make friends because I was really shy. I didn't really, step out from my comfort zone and to make some new friends. So for the first year, it was a bit challenging. But after the first semester of my university life, then I decided I have to, started to adapt the university life in swimming. So I joined some clubs like table tennis club, the swimming Japanese club to start, connecting with people. And that's how I really, improve my social skills and how I really changed myself from like a really introvert person to like a pretending to be an extrovert person to make a lot of new friends. That's my first year, and I would say it's really challenging because, as I said before, not really many friends, and I don't really know the language and the cultures. And for the second years, I would say it's more like uh, half challenging, but like half is like for fun and interesting life in terms of study or career wise, because I started participating in some roles on campus, such as swim PE assistant and swim mentor, doing like some volunteering for the orientation and welcome back week. And that's the time that I really, build up my confidence and how I, challenge myself to talk to not only international students, but like local people. And that's the time that I was really, enthusiastic about participating in more roles at universities. So second year is, although it's a bit challenging, but it's really fun and really, I would say, um, really good for my career path or my study path, except like not only just studying, but also participating in different extracurricular activities. And for third year, which is my last year, and I would say it's like a good ending of my university life because I have built up like some friendships, some connection within university or outside university, but also I'm participating into like 6, 7 different clubs and roles on campus, which kind of built up the confidence for me to present myself in class or outside class. So third year is a wrap for like these 3 years like university life. And if you say the things that I need to improve, I would say still like my English is not perfect, and I still have to improve my conversation skills, and especially in the business area. And secondly, I would say something about how I connect with people. Maybe right now I'm more focused on like on campus or my peers, but not really the professional people in different areas. So maybe for the next few years, I will be more focused on my career path instead of just focusing on campus or volunteering. And yeah, that's so far the reflection of my 3 years university life.
I think that's great to sum that up, Ken. Like that's summing up 3 years of things that you've done. And I think in previous conversations that we have with a lot of the speakers who come onto the show to speak to myself and Claire, we talk about a lot of reflection, and there's a lot of topics relating to how do you improve your soft skills. And a lot of ways is when we mean soft skills, when I put those quotation marks, it means, for example, your communication skills, your delegation skills. I'm just naming a few, right? And I think you've got those skills that you've learned through those extracurricular activities on campus. And I think as I can't speak as a local student, of course, but as an international student, those language barriers can be there, and it can be, I think of course, I've known you for a couple of years now, and you've always told me that those language barriers between a lot of different people is there, but you're kind of trying to push those barriers out of the way, and then actually, it's not so much, you know, how everyone says, oh, you got to try and fit in. It's not about trying to fit in. It's just trying to be you, and then trying to be used to improve you. And I think you've shown that through that reflection. Well, the next question I wanted to add on is about your university life, and what did you enjoy the most about it? And I can tell that you've told me about all your extracurricular activities that you've done, but what is something that you've most enjoyed the most about uni?
About uni, there's a lot of stuff, and I did mention a bit for the first question about like extracurricular activities. But the most enjoyable experience I had will be the joining, like stepping outside my comfort zone and participating in something that I think is impossible to do it, but I did achieve that goal. For example, I joined a Toastmaster public speaking club in 2019, and that's actually first time I really keen on conquer my fear of public speaking, and try to step out of my comfort zone and try to build up my confidence, like to speak in front of like different people. There are like professors, some career advisors, and like senior students who are like smarter or maybe learn more stuff than I do, and I just try to present myself in front of them. I think it's really unforgettable experience, and really really good learning experience, because how I believe myself in the past is you can't really talk in front of the public, because you don't really have the English skills and language skills to talk, or you don't have the communication skills to let people understand what you're talking about. But actually, after I joined this club, I'm kind of like, actually I can do more than I believe. Like I can achieve beyond my expectation by getting motivated by different people. So I think that's one of the most enjoyable thing in my university life. But except not only about like this public speaking soft skills, but also I would say I also take part in the table tennis club, which Alex was the former president. And I would say I did enjoy a lot by playing table tennis and meeting different kind of friends. In the past, like before I came to Melbourne or Swinburne, I was kind of like just play around with the ping pong and just casually for fun. But actually, in the last year, I did participate into the VIG game, which is Victoria Varsity game. Victoria, is it Victoria Varsity game?
Into
Or
varsity
I
games?
forgot the name.
That's mine.
Victoria, into varsity game. Yeah. And yeah, it's actually really although it was comparative, but I did make a lot of friends with like not only Swinburne University but also different university like Melbourne Uni, RMIT or Monash University students. And it's actually like at that tournaments I didn't really focus on reading because I know like my skill is still a bit rusty. But I did enjoy the moments that I make a lot of friends through this Swinburne Table Tennis Club channel. I kind of make friends that not only uni but outside uni. So I think that's so far the two things that I really enjoy for my 3 university life in 3 years university life in Swinburne. Yeah.
That's great to sum up that university life because it seems like you've enjoyed it. And I really like how you talk about like public speaking. I think I can relate a bit to Ken because when I was younger, I used to be very shy. People don't believe me. I was very shy. I didn't like public speaking. When you go to like a lecture, your first lecture, or and you have to do a presentation. I used to go red. I'll go bright red when I first say hello, Alex. Hello, everyone. My name's Alex, and then I think it's to do with those confidence skills that people have. It doesn't matter how good your English is or whatever language that you speak, right? It doesn't matter. It's all about your inner confidence and how you can bring that confidence out, because I think at the end of the day, we're all human. Everyone is human. And at the end, when you're human, of course, you're going to have, some people will have low confidence, but to build those confidence is that practice. Because I've been through that same process through my 5-year degree at Swinburne. And once you build those confidence, you don't really care about what people say. It's like, you can say what you want. That's me, and I like how you've explained that. And it's really, I think to our listeners and viewers who are going to be watching this, build your confidence, because confidence is the key. And I think Ken's done that within his small period of time at Swinburne. Well, we're going to move on from that question, right? And I want to talk about the next part, which is about the next stage of your what we call life after graduation. So what's next, Ken? What's planned for the next year or two?
That's actually a really good question that I've been thinking of from my in my last year. Because after, like, my initial plan was after I graduated, I would apply for a graduate work visa, which allows me to apply for a full-time job in Melbourne or in Australia. But because of this COVID-19 pandemic, it actually kind of ruined my plan, because Australia is on job crisis right now, and even local people or professionals hard to find a job, and it's really competitive. So after almost the end of my degree, I kind of think like, oh, maybe I'm not competent enough to apply for this role, because I don't, like, although I have some experience related to like internship or on campus role, but if I have to compete with some local people, then I have to be more knowledgeable, or I have to gain more experiences. That's why I finally decided to study a graduate diploma first in RMIT University, and that's a graduate diploma major in business information technology. And right now, like, business IT is like the key skills, or key demanding skills that, like, over like all country, or whole Australia, they require like IT professionals with business knowledge. And like, I try to reflect on myself. Like, I study a finance degree. It's actually pretty good, but if I want to be having the business skills and then integrates with some IT, database management skills, then actually it will be easier for me to find a job in the future. So for next 1 or 2 years, I probably will study the graduate diploma first, and after that, I will still try to apply for graduate roles in jobs in Australia or in countries like Japan that I want to work in, and maybe Hong Kong as well, and see whether these countries will accept my application. But if not, then I may consider to study a master degree to increase my knowledge or my skill set to compete against local people. Yeah.
I think it's great to sum that up. Like, it's being honest with yourself in especially where you're at now. I think it is because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Everyone is trying to vie for jobs, regardless if they're from an international background, like or they're coming from a local background from Australia. It's kind of hard for everyone, and it's really understandable. But the positive out of this is you're trying to reskill yourself. You're trying to build knowledge for yourself, and on top of that, you're trying to, how to say, to show that this is the Ken. This is Ken, and then you're building it to professional Ken. How do you do that? It's kind of like those phases in life, and this is kind of, I would say to people, it is short term. It could be short term. I could be wrong, but like, in the meantime, you're trying to build those necessary skills that you see in the demand of the market, which is really important. We've had a chat with a few people across our student series and then professional series as well. So a few episodes ago, we spoke to Ocean Churn, who is from Queensland, and he talked about his story about coming from Hong Kong, studying in Queensland, and then doing all these extracurricular activities, and then eventually getting a job in a company that helps students. To our viewers, check out that episode. It's a great episode where Ocean talks about his story, about very similar to Ken in a sense, very ambitious, both of you guys are, and it really links together. And I really enjoyed speaking to Ocean about that. And listening to Ken's story right now, it's giving me the similar stories in a sense. So yeah, it's great to hear that you're doing all these things, Ken, to skill yourself and to develop the Ken that you want to be. If I summed it up right. Well, speaking of which, you talked about going abroad, and I do recall that you went to Korea last year to study an exchange program. So could you talk about that experience, and then we're going to connect it later on to how it's helped you build confidence in other languages and other, like, for example, you talked about going to Japan to work in the future. How has that built you?
I would say as an international student, doing participating in exchange program is really, really rare, because you're already like an international student in Australia, and then you did an exchange program to other countries in Korea. Like, I was the only international students at that time who participated in this exchange program. So I took it really quite seriously, and I tried to find like a tons of opportunities, not only exchange program, but I also applied for internship in Korea. So when I went to Korea for just less than 5 months, and I actually did an internship in one of the biggest airport, Incheon Airport in Korea, as airport researcher intern. And during that time, it's actually it's really good fun, I would say, because Korea, like full of like entertainment industries, and like the study wise, although it's a bit crazy, like compared to Australia, they study every day. But the friends that I make over there is they're really open-minded. They really accept the Western cultures, and they try to improve their not only language skills but also like seeking opportunities like me to work in some Western countries. So this exchange program actually give me some value on how like the Asian work culture gonna be. Because I worked in Hong Kong before, but it's actually like a part-time tutor, and working in Korea as a really professional intern, and actually kind of give me some experience and some value on how I gonna work in Asia, like particularly in Korea or in Japan, in such a really work-life balance is a bit off, and they are like really deadline fighter, so they always have to time management skills, and all works tasks like related to time is really crucial for them. So you can't be late, you always have to work overtime to finish the task, no matter like how busy or how sick you are. So when I decided to work in Japan, and actually it's still really a bit uncertain at the moment, just because of this COVID-19 pandemic. It actually was my second plan. If I couldn't find a job in Australia, I will work in Japan for a while, and then I gonna come back to Australia to look for some jobs that related to the connection between Japan and Australia. But because right now I decided to study the graduate diploma in RMIT, so I kind of like, okay, this plan may be postponed. But if you ask me like my plan working in Japan, then I'm still keen, and I'm still applying for different roles in Japan. And I think this exchange program that I previously joined in 2018 gave me some knowledge on how to work in those Asian countries. So when I really go to Japan next year or in the future, then maybe I will have the mindset that I can know how to adapt into Japan and to the job society in Japan. That will maybe make me easier to adapt and work in such a high stressful country. Yeah.
So it's like what I'm getting out of it is because when you did that exchange program, I would say probably I'm not too sure if I'm speaking about you, but like
Yeah.
it's build confidence, right? Like as a how they use it at Swinburne is you're a global citizen. Um, it kind of sounds like that because you've been to other countries, like of course you're coming to Australia from Hong Kong, and then you're doing another exchange program technically to Korea, and then of course you can, as to our viewers, if you didn't know, Ken can speak multiple languages, which makes him a really adaptable global citizen, and it's I would say that's probably helped Ken a lot to adapt to, of course, because he can speak fluent Korean. I think I won't flex for Ken, but but it's really built those confidence skills, right? Like not only understanding how to speak the language, but to also adapt to the language. And then on top
Yeah.
of that, you've been to the country and to Korea, and you've worked. It's really set up your future. Would you say that, in a sense?
Yeah, it will, because I've been to Korea. I won't say my Korean is fluent. Right now it's a bit rusty, but if I go there, I can still have a daily conversation with some local people. Yeah, and those experience, and as Alex said before, being a global citizen, like everyone have to master a skill, and I would say my skill would be a language skill, because I know I have been learning Japanese, Korean, and from Hong Kong I know how to speak Mandarin and Cantonese. I know how these Asian language patterns work, and by learning these languages, by learning like variety languages, like the main languages in Asia, and I kind of realize how their culture works, and how I need to adapt by using different like words or different uh, languages to try to put myself into that society, to make new friends or adapt into that society. And exactly the exchange program is a really life-changing experience, I say, because it kind of changed my mindset. Is like, oh, maybe even though I'm studying in Australia, I won't, constrain myself only working in Australia in the future or going back to Hong Kong. I still have different places that I can, seek for opportunities, like for example, Japan or Korea or even other Western country as well, if they provide opportunities and I'm able to seek for it. So just exchange experience is just make you broaden your horizon and kind of make you feel okay. You actually have the ability to adapt in different countries. So your plan would be like after graduation will be broader, and you would be like more how to say like adaptable in different languages or different work balance cultures. Yeah.
Because I think like languages is such a powerful tool, I would say. Well, the reason why I call it a tool is it can broaden your skill sets. Like I think there's a lot of languages that people learn, of course, but the predominant languages that people, of course, or people that I know who learn is Japanese and Mandarin. And people would say that Mandarin, for example, is the new English because everyone speaks English, of course. It's
Yeah.
quite a renowned, of course, language spoken by a lot of people. And then Mandarin and then Japanese. But the one thing I've noticed about you, because I've known you for so many years, is languages has, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not only broadened your career, but it's built your confidence. Like understanding how a language works has broadened those, not only the understanding, but the inner confidence of you saying, I can go to Korea, for example, and I can speak their language. I can speak and adapt. You would, is that something that you've felt over those years as well?
Yeah, I would say so because mastering a skills that you are proud of. I won't say I mastered that yet because languages is like like continuous learning. You won't like master language. I'm still rusty in Japanese and Korean. Still have like long path to work on those languages. Like even for Chinese, I won't say I'm 100% perfect. It's like after I studied in Australia for a while, I kind of like, forget the languages as well. So I have to spend some time to revise back those languages. But in terms of building my confidence, I would say languages is a really powerful tool. And because if you are proud of something that you are good at, you're proficient in, then you'll be more confidence, like on using those skills to talk or to connect with people. For example, when I went to Korea, like compared to other international students who start from scratch in Korean, I kind of have the foundation on how to speak Korean and how to interact with like different people. That actually helped me, actually I can teach you guys how to speak Korean and you guys treat me like lunch and stuff like that. It kind of built me up like the confidence to connect with people and be able to make more new friends because they know or actually can know how to speak those languages. They like can know the deep culture of how like the Korean society works. Then maybe I can kind of rely on him or he can if he have any problems then he can ask me about that. So it's kind of like a mutual interaction. And I would say yeah, language skills is like really crucial, especially when you're working in a multicultural city like Melbourne. Like some job requirement, they may ask you like, oh, do you know how to speak Mandarin or do you know how to speak Cantonese or like other languages? Then if you have those kind of skills, then you may be able to, surpass other people or you may be better when like the employers consider your resume and stuff like that. So I think language skills definitely build up my confidence and, connecting with people and getting into the culture is really really fun and really it's just like a bridge that connect different people from different countries. So yeah.
I think like to sum that conversation up, like they talk about polyglots who know multiple
Yeah,
languages.
probably got. Yeah.
They know so many languages, and I watch a lot of those YouTube videos, and some polyglots on YouTube, when they connect with people with another language, a lot of people they freak out, and then they feel really comfortable in those languages. And from a young age, for me, is my parents have always told me to learn the languages that what they call my mother tongue. My native tongue, of course, is English, but my mother tongue is Cantonese and Vietnamese. And my parents used to tell me, learn the languages. It's going to benefit you in your career, in your future career when you graduate from uni. And we, in our podcast series, Ken, we talk a lot about building soft skills, like your motivational skills, your communication skills, your delegation skills, all these skills. We talk about a lot, but we never talk about languages, and we've never talked about how powerful it is until today. And of course, you can speak a whole lot of languages, and to be honest, it doesn't really, like, proficiency is always built. Like, no one's going to ever master, no matter, for example, I'm of course, a native English speaker, but it doesn't mean I've mastered the language. But what it builds is I've got confidence to speak it on a day-to-day basis. And then on top of that,
Exactly.
speak all these languages, right? Like Cantonese, I can speak. And then I can't speak Mandarin, of course, but I can speak Vietnamese. And it's all about those confidence skills, regardless if you're going to stuff up. And probably Ken knows that I've stuffed up a few times with my Vietnamese. But it's about those
Like, so do I. I still with Cantonese sometimes as well. So, everyone make mistakes.
It's to our viewers, it's be confident regardless of you're going to stuff up or not, because it's all about the confidence. And in this whole story here that this part of the podcast with Ken, where we talk about languages, the whole reason why we want to talk about languages is because not only it's a powerful tool, but it builds confidence. And we've seen that in Ken. I'm going to sum this whole languages and all this career and your reflection together into one question. And this question is about how has it built to your career? Like, you've said that you want to pursue something in business and IT, and then you've mastered, you've got these languages here, then you've got another section of your undergraduate study. It's going to be postgrad next. And then, of course, coming from Hong Kong, where you've studied your entire life, how is this built to the future, Ken, and the career that you've chosen? If that's not too complex.
Yeah, it's a really big question, I would say. Like, career, like, in terms of like what I want to become in the future, or like what my plan is, or like, what do you mean about like career wise? It's like what I want to become in the future, is it?
More like, how has it brought you to today? Like those experiences that you've taken out of from here to here. Like, you've experienced a lot, Ken. I think a lot of our speakers who come on, we do ask these similar questions about it, and it's okay if a lot of people can't answer it because or some people do answer, but it's a really complex question. But the reason why I want to ask, and to our listeners, is it's those experiences that you've taken, like from the extracurricular activities all the way to, for example, going to Korea as an exchange student and then coming to Australia, and all this build a type of personality. Like, we've used this a lot in our podcast, resilience, the resilience of you. And then, of course, those resilience builds on career outcomes. So the question is kind of seeking towards, what's those career outcomes that you're not expecting but you've built on?
Career outcomes. Okay.
I've got you. You're mind-boggling.
Yeah. Let me think about it. Career outcome. Okay. I would say like summing up this different experience from university life, exchange program or internship, or like all the way from Hong Kong, Australia. I would say it kind of built up my skills in of course, like public speaking skills, like language skills and communication skills that I talk about. like as we said before, it's not we are not really proficient in, but as long as we are confident in those, career like soft skills, and I would say you are really good at that because no one is perfect, right? And in terms of the outcome or like something that I want to achieve in the future, I would say I want to be business consultant in different areas, not only like accounting, finance, but also business IT. And right now I'm working on some digital marketing stuff with my mentor, and I study some certification in some digital marketing platform like HubSpots and Hootsuite, which kind of equip myself in the future to be a more, comprehensive business consultant. Maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, that will be my like ultimate goal to help different people, help people that build up their business in the future after I build mine. So that's the goal and the outcome that I want to achieve in the next 10 years. And for after all this experience, after this 3 experience in exchange program, I kind of realized that, like, jumping to the first question about reflection, I will reflect myself like I will give myself 70 marks out of 100 or like all the experience that I have. It's not maybe just a bare distinction in my life, but also I have to focus. The other 30 points or 40 points that I have to focus on is more about my professional career, like how to like instead of just playing around with university, just joining different extracurricular activities, but also have to go to some professional networking events, or try to take part in more placement or internship program. I won't say like extracurricular activities won't help to build your career. It's very crucial, very important, but also like you have to not only talk to your peers or your like students on campus, because like for myself, I'm already used to talk to those people, but in terms of speaking in front of tons, like a bunch of professionals, like from business areas, I think I still have like room of improvements in terms of talking in front of them, or try to pitch my ideas in front of those professionals. So I would say for the outcome or the skills that I have to improve in the future will be something about how I present myself in a professional way, not only just like casually, but how I approach those business professionals, or how I interview like in front of interviewer is something that I have to work on in the next few years in the future. Yeah. So that's something I kind of, that's maybe the answer for this question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it's right or wrong. It's like,
I think that's a really
it's a really, really hard question. I would say like it's really hard.
It is. I like to give all our speakers that come on a tough question, but you've answered it really well. And the reason why I asked that is because I want to see, like, all these experiences does come out to an outcome, and you've obviously given that perfect answer. To be honest, everyone who comes on, no one gives a perfect answer. What they give is a crucial step in their career, which is telling a story. And you've told us that story. I've got one more question for you, Ken.
Yep.
What advice would you give to students coming into university, regardless of the first, second, or third year? What advice would you give?
Maybe I will particularly provide these advices to international students like me, because coming from background like as a Hong Kong like international students, it's kind of like when you first came to Melbourne. When I first came to Melbourne, it's just hard to adapt to languages and the cultures, as I said before. But if you guys, have the confidence to step out from your comfort zone, it did take a while. You have to be patience, and as Alex said, like resilience. You can't like just give up when someone judge you or someone, veto you because like you're not good, you're not good enough. But actually, those feedbacks is like room of improvement or like some practical advice that you can improve yourself. So first of all, I think just try to when you first came to Melbourne to like university life, to start your university life, I think first of all be I won't say like be confident, because be confidence is a bit vague. Because like confidence is like you have to build up like step by step. It can't be like, oh, maybe I say I'm confident today, but tomorrow I may lack of this motivation. But just try to like step by step build up the skills that you want to have. For example, maybe you are not good at speaking in English, or you're not good at presenting yourself, then try to make friends with some international friends first, and try to encourage them to join different kind of clubs. Or for me, like some social clubs as well, and some professional clubs like Toastmaster as well, with some friends. Because like if you join with some friends, then it's kind of give you the I can like kind of make you feel accountable on like what you have to do, because your friend is doing, then you kind of because of this positive peer pressure, then you'll be accountable of what you're doing in a daily basis. So try to find like an accountable partner, like for example, like your best friend from not only in Australia, but maybe your best friend from your home country, and you tell them like what you have done today and what goals you try to achieve. And after a week, then you kind of reflect on yourself and summarize what you have done and what you have to improve. Then it kind of gives you the advice on yourself on how to improve yourself. So I think that's the most crucial advice is like find an accountable partner, make, like bunch of friends to set up from your comfort zone. And after all this connection, and after all these daily habits, you will be confident about yourself, and you will participate in more roles, not only on campus but also intern roles, or in the future maybe as a professional in your area. So yeah,
That's great
that's my
advice,
advice.
Ken. Really love
Yeah,
that advice, because it's not only about building confidence, it's about a step-by-step plan to go from here to here, and it takes time. And I think you're a
yeah,
testament of what that confidence is built. Because I remember in my first year knowing you, I remember you were very different to who you are now, because you built those confidence. You used to be a bit more shy. I remember when you started uni.
yeah,
I remember meeting you from
yeah,
the club event from the Japanese club, I remember, and then we've been friends since then, and we've even studied together, and I've seen you build those confidence, and we've grown together in a sense where we've come from really shy, not really outgoing people, and then now we're very outgoing. And it's a year by year process in a sense, not to scare all our listeners. It's it's just a step by step process to build, but it's a really good
yeah,
process to build, because it's not only going to uni to study, but it's also to
yeah.
grow on the side as well. And then you build soft skills and hard skills, which is your technical skills.
Yeah, and like as Alex said, like try not to scare the audience of life after graduation. Maybe it varies like like person to person. For me, it may takes like 2 or 3 years. For Alex, maybe 3 or 4 years to build up that confidence and skill set. But it depends on how determined you are. If you have set out the goals before you came to Melbourne, or before you started your university life, and you have a good system, and you have a good like like-minded friends that help you to build up those skills, then you may only take less than a year, like no one knows. So it depends on how organized and how ambitious you are. If you try to achieve more, like for example, one of our friends is local students, and his name is Rupa, and his local students who started his channel around like first year, and at that time he only have like less than 100 of subscribers, but after he become patient and resilient, and step by step, organized and systematic, his YouTube channel has reached more than 300K right now. So it's just an example on like how ambitious you are and how patient you are. Because like sometimes you won't see some achievement in a short-term period, but after you practice and you try your best, then you may see the lights at the end of the tunnel. So just be open-minded and be ambitious when you like decided what you try to do in the future. So
100% agreed on that one, Ken. Yeah, Rupa's a really inspirational story. Like I remember probably a year back, before Rupa also did an exchange program to Japan for a whole year. He's also a Swinburne student, and I remember one time myself and Ken were in the city with a few friends, and we saw Rupa, and then everybody around him, this is in the city, said hi to Rupa, and I said, Ken, how famous is this guy? And he said he's really famous. And from that point onwards, I knew he's so confident, and the way that he's built his own profile took a long time, from 100 viewers to 300,000 viewers, which is phenomenal for anyone, to be honest. And yeah, it's a testament.
Language skills as well.
And language skills. He's so it's great to have so many people around us who are like-minded. And to all the life after graduation listeners, it's never too late. It's always good to, no matter if you're graduated or still a student, there's always that time and place for it. So I want to conclude our podcast for today.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us, Ken. I really loved listening to your story from an international student to graduating from university, and of course continuing your postgraduate studies. So thanks again, Ken.
Thanks, Alex. Friends, everyone who's listening. Yep.
Awesome. And to all our listeners, thank you very much for listening. We hope to see you in our next episode. Thank you.